Hey, what's up? What's good? How you guys doing today? Today we're going to do a walkthrough the creation, the project of my song Like This. So, yeah, let's get to it, So let's take a listen so we know what we're going to be looking at.
2 steps, waking up, shower down, getting ready to go to work when we work. Every morning be like this, yeah. I wanna change all of this, yeah. I don't wanna stay like this, no. I want my life to be go. I don't. I move myself to the moon road. Don't know. Changing up, changing down. I don't wanna stay here now. Changing up, changing down. I wanna see go all around. Wanna have everything that's in my mind. Know that I needed was a little time. It's been too long for me, I won't lie. I just wanna
Make it before I die. So, that's the track that we are working with. The structure is super simple. It's like an intro, pre-build up for the hook, pre-chorus or whatever. Then comes a verse, a build up for a second part of the verse, and then we go with a hook and a verse / breakdown for another hook. So it's intro, hook, verse, pre-hook, hook, pre-hook / verse 2, and the last hook is 3 hooks and the outro hook. So we play the same chords throughout the entire song. We just play them in different orders, and we manipulate the sound with basically filters. So we're going to cut off the low end or cut the high end to give the sound a little bit more movement, and so it's not so boring. On the intros, it's a basic chord progression, just strumming down. Super simple, nothing complex for that. Then we have this little build-ups, and we go into the hook. Now the melody on the hook is a little bit more complex. It's got a little bit more distortion on. Now for the verses, we cut off all the high end and take a little bit of the low end, and the melodies change a little bit again. So that's for the guitar. Now, once we recorded the guitar and we spread it out into different parts, what we did with my brother was program the drums. The drums are programmed, they are samples. We just throw in a sampler, and that's what we work with. So we have a kick, a snap, hat, 2 snares, then we've got a riser, we've got some cymbals, and we've got loops that give a little bit more of texture and a little bit more of rhythm and groove in certain sections. So the kick is super simple, it's thumpy, but it's on the back because the track is super mellow. So we're trying to keep the vibe, a little bit mellow, It's a sad story, the one we are telling. It's just like how I want to move on. I want to make my own stuff. I want to write music every day. I don't want to stay like this, like waking up and going to my 9 to 5 or my 8 to 5 or my 7 to 4, whatever your schedule is. But yeah. Now, a little trick that I do with my drums and that I also do with some of my instruments is that I'll have 2 return tracks or auxiliary tracks, and I'll put a delay into one and a reverb into another one. Throughout the track, I'll be automating the input or the send to those auxiliary tracks, and what it'll do, it's that it will change the sound. It'll vary the sounds throughout the track. So this one, the snaps over here on the first verse are like super wet. That's why you hear them with the reverb. On the pre-hook after the intro, they sound super dry. Yeah. And for the second break after the second hook, we have 2 loops that are giving us a little bit more movement. And we have a snare build-up as well. So it's all to build a little bit more of energy, you know. We bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. But once again, the track is super mellow, so we are not trying to create this huge build-up like in progressive house or EDM or whatever there. Then that's it for the drums, and then after the drums, we programmed the bass notes. And what we did was, with my brother, we used 3 different 808s, and basically the main difference is the low end, the distortion, and how smooth they ride along with the kick and the rest of the melody. So the most important one is the smooth one for the hook. Then we have the one for the verses, which is super interesting. It's got a little bit more of movement. And a little bit more of low end. And then the one for the pre-hook, which is basically there just to add a little bit more of low end for the build-up. So that's it for the 808s. And into the vocals. So now you're going to see a lot of different colors here. That's because I do comping. I did comping for this particular project. With the hooks, we recorded the hooks and we did different takes with different tonalities just to figure out like how we wanted to make the song vibe throughout the entire project. And the vibe, the feeling of each of the hooks is different because we recorded different times with different tonalities. And what I do is I usually record like 40 tracks of vocals, and then I just pick the ones that I like the most, and those are the ones that I'm going to be using. So we have 2 main vocal tracks, the hooks and the verses. Then it's just add some EQing. After that we do a compression for a little bit of dynamics. Then we add a little bit more of compression for presence over the other instruments in the tracks. And the third compressor that we use is to add a little bit of warmth to the vocal. Then we do some de-essing, and after de-essing we add different effects. It could either be a little bit of reverb, super short, super short, or a little bit of delay. Then I have auxiliary tracks that I could send both of these tracks to, just to spread them even more out. After the main tracks, we have the breaths. Now, the reason why I put the breaths in a different track is basically just to keep them out of the processing of the main audio tracks. Why? I don't want to process my breaths because I breathe strong. So it's just overwhelming throughout the entire song to hear me breathe, and that way I have a little bit more control of the breathing, and it helps me out, you know, to get everything tamed down. Also, I just cut off the low ends and I roll off a little bit of the highs. After the breaths, for backing vocals, my secret ingredient, what I do is I tend to pan hard left and hard right. Panning, it doesn't matter. You choose which tracks you want to send left and right. Then what I do is I could either change the pitch of the vocal in the audio. I think this one's pitched down.
I don't wanna call people.
Okay, so that one's pitched down. It could be, you see? So it's a different pitch, and this is just what I do to, you know, just change the backing vocals a little bit, give them a little bit more of movement. And then what I will do for the backing vocals and ad-libs, I will compress them really hard. My inputs for effects will be super wet. The amount of wetness that I'll put into my ad-libs is going to be way more than what I do with my main tracks, because I want them normally to stay on the middle and be the center of attention. So that's it for the ad libs. Let me show you this part over here.
Every morning be like this. I wanna change all of this.
You can hear the strong delays. It's like super wet on the delays for this part.
Every morning be like this. I wanna change all of this. I don't wanna stay like this. I want my life.
That's what I try to do to move the vocal, and all the vocals have different pannings, and what I'll do is I'll automate everything, but these are once again bounced. That's it. That's the project. I hope you like it. So yeah, that's it for the project Like This. Hungry, check it out. Go ahead and check it out. You can find it in iTunes, Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube. You can follow my YouTube channel if you want. What else? Yeah, every digital platform is out there, so make sure you check it out. So I hope you enjoyed this. I wanna stay like this. I want my life to be go. What down? What down? Hey. Picture.